Welcome everybody. Let's get cracking here because it's 12:03. Thank you very much for your time joining us today as we look at 5 tips to increasing occupancy. So it's going to be quite a punchy session. As we say, we've got a lot to get through. It's going to be fast. It's going to be interactive, if you like. I would love to hear from you as well. So please feel free to talk to me during it, or we can have sessions afterwards. So I know many of you on the call, and thank you for your support. Those of you who don't know me, my name is Ali Powell. I run commercial acceleration, and basically I help operators grow their occupancy through better sales, marketing, and customer experience. I specialize in the sectors of care homes, retirement villages, and hotels. And yeah, my specialism, can't even speak here. Speciality is about occupancy optimization. So yeah, let's get into this. So let's first set the scene here a bit about why we are focusing so much on occupancy. Well, a metric I like to talk about is the cost of vacancy. And this is just looking at, a typical stressed person, it could be a CEO, director, whoever, just worried about the weekly cost of an empty room, which is very high, as we know. It could be on average 1,400. You start multiplying that by the weekly fees times 52, you get to easily 72,000. And then if you look at the average number of voids across care homes, let's say it's 10, the numbers really add up to staggering amounts. So the good news about this webinar is that there's so many things that are in our control to be doing, because we all know that the environment is very tricky. I like analogies, so you'll just see some of this stuff. This just shows you we are operating in a tricky environment. We know there's lots of challenges with regards to cost, with regards to minimum wage with staff. There's lots of challenges, but the good news is, and where there's hope, is that a lot of what we can fix in the sales and marketing and customer experience world will really help to shift the needle. A lot of it is about fixing the basics, or we say getting the basics right. And we're going to talk through today occupancy levers that will help you to boost your occupancy. So the 5 I'm going to go through is these 5 listed here. So 1 is around building trust and rapport. Number 2 is about a consistent lead generation rhythm. 3 is fixing the customer journey. 4 is creative follow-ups, and 5 is metrics that matters. So you'll walk away with some clear, doable actions you can do to shift occupancy. So let's start with the first one then, building trust. Well, occupancy starts with trust. Families aren't just choosing a home, they're handing over someone they love. And trust comes from how we show up, the listening, the understanding, and personalizing the journey. And it starts well before the tour. So let's look at how we build it. So first, I'm going to really touch on a point here, which I would call the more you know, the more you close. So discovery isn't just a data collection process. It's really about connection. And this is about asking really curious, open-based questions during this important part of the sales, the customer experience. It's very nice sort of open questions, such as what prompted you to reach out today, and really listening. So from gaining great, valuable information, you might learn perhaps that a potential resident used to be a florist, or that she loves brownies, or that she loves watching her grandson play football. And this is not just sort of small talk, it's really strategic gold for then how you can link it and personalize the tour. But I flagged this as an area that we could immediately improve, in my experience, around 90% of operators. because a lot at the moment is just very transactional and clinical about just getting the name or just getting the date of birth, just getting the address. But to the secret with relationship-based selling, or in other words, we might call it prospect centered selling, is this human centricity about how much can we find out about the people to show that we've got this real warmth and human connection around them. And the building trust, one of the biggest skills is empathy. And empathy is the golden thread that needs to be woven from the whole marketing and sales funnel. We just put a definition up here. It's the ability to understand and share the feelings of others, putting yourself in their shoes. And it's just one of the biggest ways to stand out, is if you can really show this human connection through your warmth, through your messaging, through your language, all across the customer journey. It's not fluffy, it's hugely strategic, and it's one of your biggest competitive edges, because we know that people are going through such a difficult life transition stage, and this really shows how we can connect and hopefully alleviate fears and provide a lovely solution. So another part about building trust is about emotion driving decision, and the balance here about how emotion is so important versus on the other side of the seesaw would be rational thinking. So the truth for us in our sectors of care homes and retirement villages is we know that families don't choose sort of logically, they choose more from the heart, emotionally. They're really thinking, well, will she be okay here, or will I be okay here? And you can't put this in like a spreadsheet or just sort of fact-filling ticking box exercises. It's really about how we connect and show this great empathy and great warmth to make them feel like they are really understood and feel seen. So then we've just touched a bit on building trust from a sales point of view. Let's go now into more about the marketing parts. There's, as we know, so much can be done up front before someone even picks up a phone call to say, what can we do from a marketing point to build trust? And one of the best levers that we have is about showing testimonials. So these are customer resident stories. And on the screen, I've got a few examples from video versions or written testimonial. That's your biggest champion, is the testimonials from your resident ambassadors. Another marketing example would be reviews. And reviews are becoming more and more important because with Google and how AI is changing in the future, and our tools such as ChatGPT, these sites are really sucking in reviews, whether it's carehome.co.uk or reviews from Google or reviews from OpenScore. They're pulling in all of this in an amalgamated way, and that will really be affecting SEO and how you rank on Google. So that's another really effective lever. And the last one I will put up from a marketing perspective is all the useful guides and information and blogs we can share. So how transparent can we be with making it very easy to access our pricing fees, for instance? Often when I'm doing mystery shopping, I'm just on some maze trying to find how much the place costs. And there's many other sorts of useful guides and blogs. It could be, some of these listed here about the activities we do, or, support with downsizing, or how to fund your next move. So what I've put up there is examples of sales and marketing. I'm now going to move into the next tip on consistent lead generation. I don't know there, sorry, if anyone was asking a question. I'm just going to pause a second, or whether that was just the feedback.
So I didn't have a question, but I do think it's important to note with the blogs and that type of information being added to your website, added to your socials, is absolute gold. But in order to make it the most effective gold it can possibly be, you need to be creating titles of these that are very similar to what people would be searching, and that'll then effectively help you rank higher on Google, and it'll help you rank higher in the AI searches.
Yeah, yeah, no, good, good, yeah, good points. Really great, valuable content. Thanks, Jem. Okay, well, let's look at the rhythm of how we get a consistent flow of leads generated. So this is all about multi-channel marketing to try to get the right quality leads. So we're wanting quality versus, not quality in terms of just zillions of recruitment inquiries for example. But we do need a healthy pipeline of quality leads coming through the funnel so that they can then convert to visits and then they can convert to move-ins. So what I would first say when we talk about lead generation is reframing marketing. Often I feel quite frustrated when I'm talking to some different stakeholders, let's just say, whether it's on the operator side, the investor side, or whoever side, about is marketing some fluffy logo coloring in exercise department, or is it about just a logo or an optional nice to have? And I really, always challenge that in a friendly way to say, well, absolutely, it's the engine of the business in terms of generating this rhythm of consistent leads. It's the way to turn on the revenue because it's all about very smart investment, getting the right ROI so that it will drive the EBITDA, and it's about really representing the voices of the customer and being absolutely obsessed with them. So in order to get a consistent flow of leads, like we say, perhaps 20 to 25 per month, we need to be very customer centric, obsessed. And what I've just put on the slide here is different ways to have that clarity on who your
Cash,
customer.
cash, cash.
Oh, have we got some feedback going on there? Yep, no worries on my team. If you can please just help me or
474 if you want to mute it.
okay, thank you. Great. So yeah, ways that we can have clarity on our customers so that everyone in the business is on the same page is having personas. So typically, like I've just put a persona here of an elderly child and what their all the concerns are, their needs, their goals, their objectives. Having those is giving you great insight on who your target customer is. And we know there's different levels of target customers. With care homes, it can be the actual elderly daughter, and then the secondary customer is more the potential resident. Retirement living, it can be the other way around. But yeah, just having a lot of information about who your customer is, looking at reviews, looking at data, loss lead analysis, feedback from your sales teams. It all provides really rich, great sources of who are your customers so that you can then tailor your messages and your channels to serve them best. So in marketing, without getting too technical, we would call this an STP approach, where you look at segmentation and targeting and positioning. So you would be looking at segmentation, which we talked about a bit before, about really knowing who exactly are my different groups. T is about which channels are most relevant to them, because we don't want to just waste marketing budget. We want to be very targeted as much as possible as we can to say these are the right mix of offline and online channels that are most relevant for our target customers. And then we want to have a messaging that resonates with them. So sometimes people hand me like direct mails or door drops and just say, well, this didn't work and the event was rubbish. But then if you look at the actual direct mail, you'll say, well, it didn't work because of many reasons. Perhaps the messaging isn't right, that it didn't resonate with who you're trying to attract, or it didn't have an appropriate hook, or that the images didn't resonate. There's many different parts to the science of marketing, as well as the art, that help us to appeal to the right people in order to sort of magnetize them towards us. So I just want to pause here and just maybe ask for some interactivity around a fun question around what do we think is one of the highest converting marketing channels? And I put some clues up here. And maybe if anyone wants to engage, you can just put in the comment what you think this might be showing a marketing channel that is one of the highest conversion rates. Just ask my team to see if there's any sort of comments that are coming through of what I'm trying to represent here.
So there's no comments in the comment section, but if you're not comfortable unmuting yourself and talking, guys, if you do want to answer the question, just stick it in the comments, the chat section, and I'll make sure Ali sees it.
Okay, yeah, great, thanks. So this answer to this one is around community engagement, or some call it community outreach. So there's examples here around like a church village fair. Other examples could be local schools. It's, are we engaging with the whole community around our locations, perhaps twice a week, to make sure that we have this great relationship with them, that they will refer customers to us, because some of the data would show that this can have a 60% conversion rate. So it's absolutely a critical channel for us. But for me, it's one of the most missed or ignored in my experience as I float around different operators all the time, because it can be a question of controversy around, well, whose role is it? Or, someone not quite liking that area, or it not being, not having the support tools to go with it. So just thought that was an interesting one to share. And then we will move on to tip 3. I know we are galloping through here. So this is around another area where a lot of communities fall down, is about fixing the customer journey gaps. So you might have done all this amazing work in the marketing to get the top of the funnel full, and then things just drop off because perhaps the number's wrong on the website, perhaps no one answers the phone, perhaps the tour is just like transactional or real estate. So this is a really important part to see what can we do to fix the customer journey. And the whole philosophy around this and ethos is that people will never forget how you made them feel. And that's a lovely quote by the lady I put on there. So this absolutely starts from before someone has even made that phone call. It's from the marketing, how are they feeling? Then on that phone call, how are they feeling? And many owners or CEOs I meet are sort of debating with me whether care starts when someone moves in. And my response is always, absolutely not. For me, showing that magic moments of warmth and human connection starts from the very beginning of the funnel. And we want to walk through each part of our touch points to make sure, are they really optimizing the customer experience, both in how you make people feel, but also in just not having areas where it could drop off because, like I say, the phones aren't answered or there's no follow-up. And this is just a visual representation of the customer journey. In truth, it's not linear like this, but it's just an example of moments from awareness to consideration, where the leaky buckets are happening, where customers are just falling off because we've got gaps that are easily fixable if we just don't know, if we know what they are. So for instance, 70% of calls go unanswered. That absolutely can be fixed. Or is it that 90% is not followed up? Where are our leaky buckets occurring? Do we know about them? Or should we mystery shop the process ourselves, or get someone like me to do it, so that we know where the areas for opportunity are? So just for those on the phone where this is relevant, it's just as you're talking to me, this was just a video I did back in COVID days, but because I love this topic, it's just about where might be leaking in your opinion. Do you know? Okay,
Yeah,
so
for this one as well, guys, just stick it in the comment section. So Rachel's put consistency equals trust. Absolutely agree with this. First impressions require a robust process and ownership and accountability, which is true. Very
Yeah,
much.
brilliant. Love it. Love that word consistency. Yeah, t totally with you. Thanks, Rachel. Okay, so we are moving on now, and we are on to tip 4, which is another sort of passion area of mine, is around creative follow-ups. So let's talk a bit about why I use the word creative and not just follow-up. So I had a warning on this slide. I was going to play that noise effect that we all got from our phones ringing at 3 o'clock, but emergency thing, whatever, from the government. But yeah, so the warning for me on this bit is before we get into creative ways to follow up, is just unfortunately it's one of the weakest performing areas in England across retirement villages and care homes, because I'm benchmarking this all the time, is is the lack of follow up is really unfortunately way too high. There's just so many times that someone would come in for a tour and then there's no follow up. So,
Ali,
oh, yeah,
can I
yeah.
just pause you there for a minute? Just out of interest, I mean, I'm staggered that this is still such a huge issue because it should be, as my father always used to say, obvious to a person of the meanest intelligence. Why is it that people are just not getting this? Because it is. I mean, it's through everything. Whether it's in my background of nursing, whether it's in my background of sales, whether it's in my background of hospitality, it's about controlling expectation. And why are we so bad at that?
I mean, obviously, I'm totally 1,000,000% with you. Like I said, it's just for me, it's absolute basics. And any industry you go, you'll see data like saying you need to do it at least 7 times. It's not just obviously like say our sector, but no, it's still happening. I mean, a few um, months ago, I was in Surrey talking to someone about the owner feeling, but is this an aggressive thing to be doing? And I'm saying it's absolutely not aggressive for me. It's just absolutely great customer service that they've come in and we want to show that hospitality and be thankful for them. So I think some, like you said, is a perception that it's aggressive. It's absolutely not. It's just great customer service. Second, probably I think is maybe a lack of thinking, well, what is the rhythm to doing it? So, a lot of times I just map out for them, these are your 7 touch points, and some is phone call, some is email template, some is lumpy mail, but some I think just don't have that mapped out or don't have the standards. But or what does the sales bit do marketing? But it's very, like I say, easy fixable. And I'm praying, I mean, I'm on a mission to try to improve the customer experience in our industry that we will crack this for everyone.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. I totally agree.
So what I would love to see more of though is not just following up some sort of copy and paste email, is I'd love to see really personalized creative follow-ups. I'd love to celebrate these. And if any of you are doing things, please let us know. So examples of this is where you've really used that human connection and personalized approach from the beginning to learn something about someone so that you can then tailor it and make it a thoughtful, creative follow-up. So, I mean, the image I used a few slides ago was a lady receiving a card which had a cute dog on the front. And that was because she had, expressed her love for dogs. And this was just a lovely way, again, cost nothing really to send a card to follow up. Other things could be a very thoughtful small gift. It doesn't need to cost anything. I heard someone the other day sent some orchard seeds because they liked orchards. Just lovely. But it's again, just to operators on the phone, is what can we be doing more to, firstly, to Amanda's point, make sure we have a sequence of follow-ups, because people do take a bit of time to decide and involve other people sometimes. And how do we make it human and personal so that we can stand out to the competitors?
Ali, can I just add to that as well? Is I think with creative follow-ups, sometimes it's letting that person know I see you and I hear you. A lot of the time when we're having conversations with prospects, they're sharing a lot of information with us. And by following up in a personalized way, like you were describing. You're letting them know I see you and I hear you, and you do have something to say. You know, a lot of the time I always say, as people get older, they feel invisible, but by following up and letting them know, I heard what you said, and I just want to let you know that. And the thing with the creative follow-up is they will call you because they've received the handwritten letter and they're like, wow, this person did see me, and they will call you back rather than you having to call them back.
Yeah, sorry, Catherine, I pressed the thing. Yeah, absolutely great points, Catherine. Yeah, see you, hear you. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, and I hope more people learn to do that.
Rachel put, do you think it falls down due to internal resource expertise or no clear plan to monitor?
Well, yeah, I think all of those. So I think with monitoring, CRM systems, if you're using them properly, can easily do that. I mean, that was Catherine's voice before from a lean. You know, you can easily sort by last activity to see that. And I would think all supervisors and managers should be looking at that to see the last activity. Often I go places and it's no one's been contacted for 300 days or you think, whoa. Yeah, I think the other point you're saying about maybe just the staff not the teams not learning how to do it is another part, like you say, saying, right, I'd call it mapping out. Let's map out what our follow-up sequence could be, these 7 touch points. This is a good guide. I mean, people can vary it if they like, but I think sometimes it's just people just not knowing. Everyone you would hope wants to come to work to do a good job. Okay, well, for the sake of time, let me just finish on the last one, which is about the metrics. So I'm, major data geek here. And in terms of improving occupancy, it would be, are we focusing on the right metrics that matter? So I've put some of the key ones up on the screen here, and then there's many more. But in the end, it's also as we're managing up to teams or to other stakeholders in our business is how are we tracking and showing the success? So, how many quality leads do we have a month? How does that compare to industry? And if you want anyone to benchmark this too, like I say, contact me because I'm doing this all the time. I could give you easy thoughts on what conversion rates are. So sometimes people just say, well, this is their conversion rate. But I'm saying, which part of it? Are we talking lead to visit, visit to move in, lead to move in? Other metrics I've put here, the selling time, how long are you spending with each person? These are just great, the key metrics that really, really work, that really matter. And yeah, I think the final point is just to say thank you very much for your time here. I am going to pause it now just in case anyone wants to stay on and ask questions and any of those that want to take a private call another time, absolutely. Have another webinar coming out on October the 16th, and it's just a free link here to a conversion maximizer guide I produce if you'd like it. So thank you very much. I will stop sharing my screen here.
What we're going to be covering in the one in October, Ellie?
We are going to be covering one of our passion areas, which is about filling up faster through a consistent customer experience. So thank you. We will put that on our LinkedIn event soon.